So we haven't touched the astronomy part since long ago. So let's have some discussion about the moon. I think we will continue it in 3 to 4 segments, in 3 to 4 lectures, just to just so that we are like we keep the interest in this part also. So what is the moon? It is a natural satellite, and our solar system, the whole of it, like the moons of the other planets included, we have 96 moons, and it is maybe more than 96, but it is one of the moons of our solar system. And as the earth has only one moon, it is the only moon of the planet earth. The distance of moon from earth is 384,000 kilometers, about 240,000 miles from earth, and the diameter is 3,468 kilometers. It is about the 1/4 the size of the earth. And the moon's surface, because the radius of earth is 6,400 kilometers, so if you multiply the 3,468 multiplied by 4, so it would be around like 12,000, and that is the diameter of earth also. So on moon surface there is no atmosphere. By atmosphere I mean, like, we on earth atmosphere we have oxygen, nitrogen, and some other gases that are required for survival. So on moon there is no atmosphere, there is no liquid water, and the temperatures are very extreme, like they reach to 130 degrees C, like that is more than the boiling point of water in daytime, and at night time it gets to minus 190 degrees C. So it is like the coolest place on earth would be around, in my opinion, it would be around minus 40 degrees Celsius, and the hottest place would be around 50 to, I think, 60 degrees Celsius, not more than this. So it is like 2 to 3 times more hotter than the hottest place on earth, and like 6, 7 to 8 times more cooler than the coolest plane on the earth. So the temperatures are very extreme, and as the volume or the diameter of moon is is 1/4 as compared to the earth diameter, so the mass of moon is also less. That means the gravity, because gravity depends on the mass of the planet, so the gravity of the moon is also 1/6 time of the earth's gravity. So in the features of the moon are very fascinating, because it has, when if we see the telescopic images of moon, we can see very humongous and huge mountains and very deep trenches and valleys. So the mountains are, yet now the discovered ones are up to 7,500 meters. That is about, like, the Mount Everest is 8,800 meters, I think, and it is comparable to the height of the Mount Everest, and it has very like deep release, the trench-like valleys. So that is why the features of the moon, the lunar features, are very fascinating and very like interesting. Another very common thing found on the moon surface is uh, the craters. These are up to 2,500 kilometers across, most formed by the meteorite impact on the moon. So the celestial bodies like meteorites, when sometimes they fall on Earth also, but uh, maybe like on moon they have a frequent impacts. So the most of the craters are formed by the meteorite impacts on the moon, and some of the craters are formed by the volcanic action inside the moon. So as the temperatures are very like a variation of the temperature is very high, so it is also discovered that there is a lot of volcanic eruptions going on inside the moon. So some of these craters are formed by the volcanic action inside the moon. Uh, a very a very fascinating feature in the moon is known as Maria, and originally it was thought to be seized by the early astronomers because, as you can see in this image, there are craters, and there are, as you can see, there are some ridges and mountains in most part of the moon, but this one, the mentioned portion as Maria, is a very plain and smooth portion. So it was originally thought as a sea because even on like when if you see Earth from satellite, the sea portion would be seen as a very smooth region. So initially it was thought to be a sea, and it is one of the darkest parts of the lunar landscape that also supported the original thought of it to be a sea. But later on, it was discovered that it is filled by lava after crash of huge meteoroids on lunar surface 3 to 4 billion years ago. So the most of this region, it has basalt rock in it, and it is still a very uh, like a focus portion on the moon, that why this region is so smooth without any craters and without any um mountains and valleys in it. So the moon orbits the Earth every 271 by 3 days. The moon rises in the east and sets in the west. The moon rises and sets 50 minutes later each day. So the moon turns on its axis every 27 days. Same side of the moon always faces Earth. So this is an interesting fact, that same side of the moon always faces Earth. So although it is uh, rotating around its axis, but somehow the orientation of the moon is such that the same side of the moon will be always facing the Earth. So this information is kind of new for me also. I will look into the detail because if something is rotating on its axis, how is it possible that same side of the moon always faces the Earth? So I will look into this. Far side of the moon. So first, the far side of the moon is basically if the same side of moon is facing the Earth every time, so the far side is the side that is opposite side to the Earth. So it was first seen by the Luna 3, the Russian space probe in 1959. Surface features different from the near side. It has more craters, very few Maria, and thicker crust. So the side we are seeing from the Earth is a little different from the far side of the Earth, and it has more craters in it, but a very few smooth regions that are known as Maria, and it has a thicker crust. So moonlight is reflected sunlight. We know that half the moon surface is always reflecting light. From Earth, we see different amounts of moon's lit surface. That is why we see different shapes of moon every night at the 14th night of moon on moon cycle. We can see a full bright moon, and as you can see, we are these images, they also support the fact that we are viewing the same side of the moon every day. So from Earth, we see different amounts of the moonlit surface. The amount seen is called a phase. So we are just uh, seeing different phase of moon every night. So we will continue the waxing and waning portion in the next lecture. That's it for today.